Welcome back to the Keiser Report. A special treat. I've got David Degraw standing by in New York for a special exclusive interview. He is the author of The Economic Elite versus the People of the United States. David, welcome to the Keiser Report.
Thank you, Max. Great to be on here with you.
I see a lot of snow blowing behind you. Did you ski over to the studio?
Something like that, yeah. Another storm here.
All right, tell us about the Economic Elite. Who are they?
Well, primarily it's the economic top 1% of the country, really half of 1%. When I talk about the economic elite, I'm primarily talking about the business roundtable, which is where all the CEOs of the biggest companies come together and they dominate the American political process, you know, through campaign finance, through lobbying. You know, you hear about the healthcare lobby, the financial reform lobby. Well, these people are all coming from the business roundtable where they're getting their plans to basically eliminate the U.S. middle class. And in the book, I try and bring together all these devastating economic numbers to form evidence and to explain to the American public that we have been attacked, that we are in an economic war right now, and all economic indicators say things are going to get worse. They're not going to get better. We have 30 million unemployed and underemployed. Meanwhile, within the next decade, they're planning on shipping out 25% of remaining jobs overseas. So the American middle class has been dominated. The top 1% of the population has captured 75% of all economic activity in the past 5 years. They now control 70% of financial assets, which is an all-time record. Okay, I mean, the devastating numbers across the board. They're consolidating wealth and resources in unprecedented fashion.
Now, let's talk about the middle class, basically, as you describe it, is getting completely eviscerated. And the jobs that are remaining are being shipped overseas. And any thought of there being a V-shaped recovery or a W-shaped recovery is ridiculous.
Not happening.
It's not happening. I heard one pundit call it a lowercase y-shaped recovery, which is that basically we've had the little bounce due to the Keynesian stimulus from Obama, followed by a huge drop down to new all-time lows. Now, exactly how unequal is the wealth in the U.S.? Can you break it down a little bit more for us in terms of numbers?
Well, let me give you some hard numbers here, okay? 400 of the richest Americans control more wealth and have more net worth than 155 million Americans combined. The United States now has the highest poverty rate in the world. We have over 50 million people living in poverty, and this number is growing by the day. I mean, over 5 million families have lost their home. Bankruptcies have had a 32% increase. 1.5 million people have filed for bankruptcy. The 50 million have no health care. Medical bankruptcies are skyrocketing. They make up 60% of the bankruptcies being filed. And of the medical bankruptcies, 75% of the people who have health care insurance are filing for medical bankruptcy. In the United States, we're paying twice as much as other countries for medical care. The treatment we're getting in return ranks 37th, okay? I mean, this is one aspect of this multifaceted attack. The economic elite have come to the decision that the U.S. middle class is obsolete, okay? The U.S. economy is like the Titanic, okay? And we're on the Titanic, and all these economic elites are jumping off into all the lifeboats on the Titanic and taking off and leaving us on it, okay? All economic indicators say things are not getting better, okay? This is what the American people need to understand. You're not going to get this news on, you know, television news in the United States. They just don't inform you. They normalize the unthinkable by giving you random numbers that, you know, people are confused. They don't know what's going on. They're stressed out. Over 60% of the United States is living paycheck to paycheck right now. Everyone is in dire straits. I mean, it's time for 99% of the population to get together, start organizing, become aware. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do in this book, is lay out all the evidence. The evidence is clear on this, okay? They've launched a war on us. They want us out. They don't want an American middle class to deal with anymore. They see us as an obstacle to further concentration of wealth and power globally.
Now, talk a little bit about the mechanisms for eviscerating the middle class, some of the financial tricks of the trade, so to speak, on Wall Street, and some of the policies that are pursued to basically gut these millions of people of their American dream, as it was once called.
Well, I mean, if you look at Wall Street, I mean, it's a giant Ponzi scheme, you know. I mean, Alan Greenspan just won the Dynamite Award for being most responsible for the American economy blowing up. But I mean, in my opinion, it's Hank Paulson, okay? Because Hank Paulson, when he was CEO of Goldman Sachs, he personally went to the SEC, got them to get rid of the net capital rule, which of course gave us all this high-risk behavior, because the net capital rule made it so firms had to have assets to back their risks. With the net capital rule out of the way, you got credit default swaps and derivatives, and the whole U.S. economy was turned into this giant Ponzi scheme. Hank Paulson personally made $700 million on this Ponzi scheme. They knew it was going to blow up, so they insured it through AIG, which of course all the bailout money went to AIG so they could save Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. So then when the thing blew up, there's Paulson sitting in the Treasury with his, confidant Tim Geithner and Ben Bernanke. He also brought in some private contractors to help him with the bailout, all Goldman Sachs former employees. I mean, the bailout is trillions of dollars. I mean, in total, if you look at the economy, you look at the bailout, the Ponzi schemes, trillions of our dollars have been stolen, trillions of dollars of national wealth. And somehow in the U.S. media, this is not a story. They want to talk about Tiger Woods and cheating on his wife, or Sarah Palin writing on her hand. I mean, this is ridiculous. Coming here to this interview, I wanted to remember to talk about trillions of dollars being stolen, so I wrote a note on my hand. Maybe the U.S. media will pick it up so I don't have to come on international TV all the time. I don't know if you can read that, but my note here says trillions of dollars have been stolen. I mean, people need to understand this. I mean, it's all out in the open. It's not like this was done in secrecy. It's all out in the open. We need to start understanding what happened, start holding people accountable. I mean, there used to be a rule of law in this nation. There's no more free market. It's a rigged market.